All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. My name is Erin O'Brien. I'm a Thermex consultant and team leader based in Druin in Victoria, but my team is virtual and we all work all over Australia, which is really cool. Tonight, myself and Jess, one of the consultants from our team, are bringing you guys a spring-themed virtual cooking class just to help give you some new inspiration and ideas. Perhaps you are seeing Thermomix in action for the first time, or you've got one and joining one of our classes for the fourth or fifth time. So welcome to everybody and thanks so much for joining us. I am going to get us started tonight with our first recipe, which is actually a chicken budda boil. So we thought, spring, this beautiful sunshine, not so much today if you're in Victoria like me, but perhaps thinking back to yesterday, the beautiful sunshine kind of inspires us to eat a bit healthier, I think, to get outside, have more picnics and all those kind of things. So that's kind of where we've picked the inspiration, I suppose, we've used for our recipes and our dishes tonight. So we hope you enjoy them. We'd love you to pop in the chat box perhaps where you're from and what's inspired you to come along tonight. And please use the chat box at any stage if you have any questions or anything at all. A couple of our consultants are also in the chat box to help us. So please use that. And but I'm going to get us started. So I am using the budda bowl with chicken recipe. It is a TM6 specific one, this one. And it is, obviously on Cookie G. I've already put it into my meal plan. Meal plan and ready to cook today. So I've already brought it up, and obviously like normal, I can scroll down and have a read of my recipe if I wanted to, perhaps any hints and tips, that kind of thing. Otherwise, I'm just going to hit start cooking. So the first step of this recipe and this bowl is just to cook some rice for the bottom of it. So we're just going to get that cooking and then we are going to move on to something else. So I'm just going to tear those scales, and into there, I'm just going to put a litre of water. So you probably can't see it super clear on the screen of your Thermomix, but screen of your Zoom, sorry, but the scales on the Thermomix, on the TM6, they're built in and accurate to 1 gram. So we're just watching it over on the side here. I'm very lucky to have multiple Thermomix bowls, so I'm using that as my jug to bring my water across tonight. And into there, we are going to place 20 grams of olive oil. Oh, I've got a new one, hang on, I'll just grab the open one. So again, just weighing that straight in there. Next, again, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I don't measure that super accurately, I just throw it in. Next, again, we're going to insert our simmering basket. So that is one of the attachments, obviously, that comes with your TM6. So just sitting that straight in the top. A hot little hint for this one is to make sure, obviously, the hook to get the simmering basket is at the kind of the hinge of the lid. So if you put that at the handle of your bowl, it's going to be the easiest to get it out with your spatula. So if you just put it there nice and easy, and then you can also lean it up, which I'll show you afterwards as well. But placing it like that, just rather than just throwing it in there, will make your life a bit easier when it comes to taking it out hot. So I'm just going to push that back, and into there we're going to place 250 grams of rice. Again, just weighing that straight in. And next, we're just going to give it a mix with the spatula. So it is kind of touching the water and the oil. So I'll show you, I'll lift up in a second and show you without hopefully dripping it too much. You can see that it's kind of coated in, hopefully, without dripping everywhere, coated in that oil and water now as well. So tap off. Next, we're just going to pop the lid on. Next again, and now I've just got it set for 20 minutes, 100 degrees, and we're going to turn the speed selector to 4. So that's going to cook away for us, obviously hands-free. We could be doing anything else at the time, but for tonight, we're going to pop on over to Jess and see what she's going to start us cooking with.
Thanks, Erin. Hello, everyone. I'm Jess. I am actually based in Coniva, so pretty much at the opposite end of the state to Erin. But as she said, thankfully we're in the virtual world. It doesn't matter where we are. So tonight I'll be using the beautiful black Thermomix for my first dish. I'll just go into my week, and I'm going to be making the shredded chicken and noodle salad. So has anyone seen this recipe yet? I spotted it in the new collection on Cookie Dough, the chef collection. So we're going to need, so we'll start, so I've got 2 garlic cloves. I'm going to put in 3 because I measure garlic with my heart. 1, it says a bird's eye chili, but I've just gone the normal red one at the supermarket. And you can de-seed it if you want to, but I find they're not that spicy, so I'm going to keep the seeds in. And now we're just going to whiz these up. This might cut me out just from the noise. So that has cut all that up really quickly, and no tears on my behalf, which normally happens with chili. No tears and no steam hands. We're just going to pop that into another bowl. Well, note to self, don't put your face too close to the bowl. It is a bit spicy. That's okay. All right. So now we're going to keep making the sauce. So we're going to put in 60 grams of fish sauce. So I think this one's a one of the in the chef collection, because the sauce is actually Luke Nguyen, the chef. He came up with the sauce, and this Wendy Crombie came up with the actual salad. So they've put the 2 together. 60 grams of white vinegar. Let's pour that straight in. Okay. And 60 grams of water. All right. My tablespoon. We need 2 tablespoons of sugar. And now we're just going to cook that up. We need to put the simmering basket on top. So it's just another safety feature now when we're going at 100 degrees, and it's just going to cook for 3 minutes. So while that's cooking, I'd love to know, has everyone seen that new collection on Cookie Dough yet? The new chef collection. So it was only added, I think, on Monday, wasn't it, Erin? It was added on Monday, and it's all recipes that are actually from chefs, all their favorites. So it is a collection that's going to be continuously added to, but there are some great recipes in there at the moment, and a lot that I thought would be way too hard for me, but it looks like they'll actually be quite easy.
It's the beauty of guided cooking, isn't it, Jess?
Well, that's
so we
right.
can all pretend we're chefs.
That's right. I can cook a lot more things, and I'm a lot more adventurous than I ever thought I would have been.
Absolutely, me too. Has anyone tried anything from the new collection yet? I haven't. It's school holidays here, so I haven't tried anything that takes more than a quick thing to make, a quick few minutes. But yeah, I'm eyeing off a few of them for when I have a little bit more free time again.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm the same. That's why I had a look and I found this one in there, and I thought, oh, that one looks pretty good. And then because it's school holidays, the kids won't be eating this one. So I could actually put the chili in that I wanted.
Perfect. So you guys might see that Jess is using the black with the black glider board. So you might have seen, anybody that doesn't currently own a TM6, you might have seen that we do have a brand new gift with purchase at the moment. So at the moment, you can see Jess is demonstrating perfectly for us there. At the moment, if you do purchase you get a matching glider board, depending on what, if you pick the classic white or the sparkling black Thermomix, you get a matching glider board and also a matching oval thermo server. So if you've got the white, the classic white Thermomix, you get the classic silver thermo server, and if you buy the black, the limited edition black Thermomix, you get a limited edition. It's like a beautiful matte black thermo server with it as well. So the glider board and the thermo server worth just over $300 free with your Thermomix at the moment.
And the glider board is amazing if you don't already have one. The fact that you can just lift it up and slide it around is amazing. I don't
have one for my black, and I really need to get onto that because it's really bothers you when you're used to it. Yeah,
no, it really does. And also I like the matching, so I had to get the black one for my black. So it's only got about 20 seconds to go. So don't forget, you've also got this preview button here that you can click on and get things. If you've got other ingredients you've got to get organized, you can be flicking forward in the recipe to work out what you need to do. Oh, there we go. So now it's finished. So we're just going to set aside the mixing bowl to cool. And then once cooled, we're going to pour it into the bowl with the reserved garlic and chili. So you can just see there that it's quite hot. So I will just put that to the side and grab my other bowl. Another one I prepared earlier. Does everyone have a second bowl? They're amazing. Or a third or a fourth that I've got. So I will come back to this step once it's cooled down a bit, but I'll be also adding, so I'll add the mixture we just cooked into the chili, and then with that I'll be adding 2 tablespoons of lime juice, and I'll stir to combine, and then the dressing is ready. So we'll keep going. So it says without cleaning mixing bowl, but it is cooling, so I'm not going to wait for that. So we've got 600 grams of water. So just pour that into the bowl. Okay, a teaspoon of chicken stock powder or paste. So I make veggie stock paste. And so I don't bother with making the chicken as well. I just use the veggie for everything. I find it gives enough flavor. I also keep it in the freezer, if you just heard me leave to go grab that. Because I find that because there's so much salt content to it, it doesn't actually freeze and it'll last a lot longer in the freezer. So that is always a good tip that I got told. All right, so now we're going to insert the simmering basket. So as Erin explained before, we're just going to put in so that the hook's at the front. We're going to put in 500 grams of chicken breast. So I've just got this cut up here. Just says into pieces about 8 centimeters. So let's cut it into some big chunks. Okay, that's 500 grams there. As you can see, I didn't pre-measure this one. Pop that on. Lid on. Now this is just going to cook for 8 minutes at 100 degrees. So that will just poach the chicken now and it'll just cook away.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. Could get the click right then. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. Oh, you nearly timed out on me then. I'm going to, I'm just going to move my white Thermomix just to the side for a minute while that rice is cooking. And I'm going to continue on with my black, and we're going to get started. This time I'm going to make, so I'm just going to get that notification out of my way. It's very annoying. This time I'm going to make brunch bread. So again, just thinking about what the things that we're a lot more likely to do and enjoy in spring. I thought that picnics is certainly something we enjoy in our family. And this is a great little recipe to take on a picnic with you. So has anyone made the brunch bread before? Pop in the chat box and let me know. So obviously I've got this one meal planned out and ready to go as well. So I'm going to go into my week and just select the brunch bread there. Again, like normal, scroll down if you want, but we're just going to hit start cooking up. I've already got my oven preheating, so we can skip on past that one. And I've got my tray sorted to go as well. Into there, we're going to place 280 grams of warm water. So I'm just going to tear those scales again. It's very hard to get the finger in the right spot upside down. So Jess and I we're both lucky enough to earn our Black Thermomixes. We get lots of amazing perks as consultants, and earning a Thermomix here and there is one of them. So we've both been lucky enough to earn our black ones this year. So that's why we've got one of each that we're able to show you tonight. I'm just going to grab my teaspoon. So into there next, we're going to place 2 teaspoons of yeast. So you just want to make sure when you're popping your yeast in that you're just putting it around the blades and not on top of them, because the water is a bit lower than the blades. If you put it on the top, it's just going to get stuck there and it's not going to work as well. 20 grams of olive oil. Oops, I've done a bit over there. That's okay. And 2 teaspoons of salt. You guys making many breads and doughs with your Thermomix at the moment? Pop in the chat box and let me know what's your favourite dough or bread to make. We make quite a few in our house. Popping the lid back on, and now we're just combining that. So 5 seconds on speed 3, just to mix all those ingredients together. Scrolls are my kids' favourite at the moment. They're like any kind of Vegemite and cheese or pizza scroll. So we've just, I'm probably not really going to be able to show you without tipping that out. No. Combine that yeast, water and oil. And into there now we're going to place some baker's flour. So because we do lots of baking or breads and things, I do have a massive tub of baker's flour. So I'm going to place 500 grams in there. I get a big bag of baker's flour from Costco, which works out to be a really cost-effective way of buying it and making things, saving us lots of money. Right, next again, we're going to pop the lid back on. And again, just combining it, 6 seconds on speed 8 this time. Has anybody on tonight have been lucky enough to grab themselves one of the sparkling blacks yet? Pop it in the chat box and let us know. They're so, I feel like they're really hard to describe and show you how great they are on Zoom. That's just combined those ingredients there. We're going to pop the lid back on again, and we're going to knead this time for 2 minutes. Yeah, I feel they're really hard to show you just how beautiful they are on Zoom, but I know anybody that's got one so far has been blown away in person by how nice they are. So you might be able to see that the wheat symbol is up there at the moment. So that just tells us that it's using our kneading mode. So the TM6 obviously has lots of different modes and functions. Kneading is one of those. Does anybody know what 2 minutes of kneading in your Thermomix is equivalent to? Kneading by hand? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. Is anybody making breads and doughs by hand at the moment? Anybody without a Thermomix? Let us know. Just going to have a quick read.
I'll just jump in there. I used to love making bread before, like pre-Thermomix, but always found that it never rose very well, and it was always really hard and not as nice and fluffy. So definitely the kneading process makes a big difference.
Definitely. And I see we've got 20 minutes of kneading by hand, so that's correct. Yeah, so we are saving just so much more time by letting our families do it for us, and then obviously we're free to do other things as well. I think it's that hard sometimes when we're on Zoom and we're talking and we're flicking between each other, but you kind of don't realise how much hands-free time there is in these recipes. That I suppose if you're making them at home, you could be doing anything, playing with the kids, doing some washing, sitting outside in the sun with a cuppa. Anything that you like when your hands free, which is really great. So we've just got about 20 seconds left on that one. Stuff prepped, but it's going to be my way. Awesome. So that is that done. And then that is our beautifully kneaded dough. So from here, I'm just going to turn it so I can see it a little bit easier. It's telling us to transfer the dough to a bowl, cover it with the plastic wrap, and set aside in a warm place to proof for about 30 minutes or until doubled in size. So the thing that I really want you to know, and I know I mentioned this a lot in our classes and my virtuals, is that 30 minutes may not be long enough to double in size. So depending on where you are, your climate, all of those kind of things, and also where the recipe is developed. So in Australia, we have a recipe development team in Western Australia. So obviously their proofing conditions are very different to what we have here in Victoria. But yeah, recipes can also be developed all over the world as well. So I would find 30 minutes generally not enough time for our dough to double in size, but you just kind of have to just wait and see really if you want the best results. You can do it at the 30-minute mark, but if it hasn't doubled, you just won't get the same beautiful fluffy dough. So after that, it's then telling us to pop it on a silicone bread mat, roll out the dough into a large rectangle. So just before we continue, so obviously that is our dough now. And here's one I prepared earlier. So that's beautifully doubled in size there. So I did that probably about an hour ago, actually, just after we ate dinner. So yeah, about an hour at the moment to double in size. So I'm just going to put the lid back on that one. Just going to move this out of the way a little bit more. And we're just going to continue on with that one. So I'm going to use, and I'm just going to show you just why in a minute. But so we've obviously got our bread mat that is amazing for doing doughs and different things. It's non-stick silicone bread mat, and yeah, everything you can just roll onto it and it's easy and perfect. As a host reward, it actually comes with our oven mat as well. So this is perfect for cooking anything. This one can go in the oven as well, but most people prefer just to leave it just as like a bread and dough mat. This one is just like an oven tray liner, so it can go in the oven. It's a little thicker, but still can be used for breads and doughs and stuff. So I'm actually going to roll it out straight onto that one tonight, just so then I don't have to try and transfer it onto it to cook. I forgot to get my rolling pin out 2 seconds.
While we're waiting there, I'll just jump on and say that the chicken has been cooking for 8 minutes, and I've just had to give it a stir and put it back on for another 7 minutes.
Perfect. Thanks, Jess. So I'm just going to tip that out onto my mat. I'm actually just going to quickly put that one in the bowl too, just because I find it hard to get off the blades once it started proofing in the Thermomix bowl. So you can see there, like the difference, how much it had grown. So it definitely had doubled. Pop the lid back on that. These bowls are actually from the mix shop as well. They come in a set of 3 and they're so perfect for lots of things, but they're the best for rolling doughs. They're my favorite. I mean, for proofing dough, because they've got the lid, you don't have to worry about glad wrap or anything. So we're going to just roll that out to about 20 times 45 centimeters. So it's actually going to be a little bit longer than my actual mat, which is why I put the other one underneath. Hope you can hear me okay with that rice cooking. It's nearly finished. So obviously, when you're using guided cooking and Cookie-Doo, you've got your Cookie-Doo will walk you through every single step. So not just the steps that are related to directly cooking in your Thermomix, but it's going to walk you through the whole recipe. So it's telling us exactly what to do for these steps and every subsequent one, which is so handy. All right, so I think that will do us. So then I'm just going to next again. It says, with the long edge facing you, spread grated cheese, spinach, bocconcini, sun-dried tomatoes and bacon in a line along the bottom of the dough, leaving a 1 centimetre border on each side. So I've got my fillings here. So this recipe, uses some baby spinach, bocconcini. I didn't have any, so I'm just going to use some mozzarella tonight, some bacon, cheese and sun-dried tomato. But I think it's a super versatile recipe. Like if you want to add anything, change it up for things that you think your kids might enjoy more or you might enjoy more. Like you could just do it as like a ham and cheese type thing if you wanted. Ham, cheese, pineapple, make it like a pizza or something. That would be very okay as well. So obviously the actual recipe has all the measurements for these fillings. I just measured them out before we started to save us a bit of time, but if you're making it yourself, you can obviously refer to that on the recipe. What do you reckon, guys? If you're making something like this, what kind of fillings do you think would be nice in it? Put it in the chat box and let me know. I think my kids would, just love something pretty basic. I think they'll eat this anyway because they love food and it's school holidays and we're always hungry. All right, so just put all that along there. Next again, we're going to roll up the dough into a log enclosing the filling. So literally, again, we're using, sorry, let's get that out of your way. Because we're using our non-stick mats, I haven't had to flour them or anything, oil or anything. So we're just it'll lift straight off there. And you can just roll it over. No, I just kind of like, a bit like when I'm making a scroll, just kind of tuck it back in on itself a little bit as I don't know if you can tell from that angle. As I'm rolling it, I'm kind of tucking, if that makes sense, just so it kind of tucks in and doesn't leak out everywhere. I do exactly the same when I'm rolling scrolls and just keep rolling and tuck as you roll along. And then it says pull ends of the dough around, creating a ring shape and gently press the ends together. So literally, again, just lifting it up. I'm just going to put those fillings back in the end too. And then just using my fingers to kind of tuck that bit of baby spinach back in, but pressing that dough together. So then you can just kind of shape it a bit better if you want to. And then set aside to proof for another 10 minutes. So I'm just going to pop that on the tray and just, leave it for another 10 minutes while I get everything else started. I'm just going to sit a towel over the tea towels, give me 2 seconds, over the top of the dough. So I find that when proofing dough, if it dries out, it forms like a bit of a crust and then it doesn't proof as well. So I always cover it with a tea towel or Glad wrap or something and find that I get much better results doing it that way. All right, while that is proofing and done, we're just going to move on with our salad. Bring that back. So this is what makes the glider board so good, because you can just lift it up and move it across without having to worry about hurting your scales at all. So that is our rice done. So we're just going to remove the simmering basket with the aid of a spatula and transfer the rice to a varoma dish. Place rice under cold running water to cool the rice as quickly as possible. So I have to cut out my varoma. So like we said earlier, you're just using that, the back of your spatula there and hooking that in the simmering basket. And then, like I said, you can, if you're cooking chicken or something like that, you can kind of angle it a little bit and that'll just let any extra water or anything drain out. So I'm just going to put that in the simmering basket. I'm just going to take it over to the sink before I tip it out. I'm going to put that under running water for a minute. And then we are going to continue on. So it says divide the rice between 4 serving bowls and place in the fridge until needed, which I'll do when the chicken's cooking in a minute. And then empty and rinse the mixing bowl. I'm just going to grab another bowl for the time being because that's easier. Another perk of the job. Both Jess and I are lucky to have lots of mixing bowls. We're actually even got a chance to earn another one at the moment as consultants, which is really cool. We're on top of our commission, we get some really amazing incentives, and I'm not going to lie, that's what keeps most of us as consultants, and you know, the love for it and all of that. But the freebies are pretty amazing. And so it's got 10 grams of toasted sesame oil or olive oil. I'm just going to use olive oil tonight. And then 250 grams of chicken cut into strips. I'll just grab that out of the fridge. Next, again, place the simmering basket on the top. So I'm just going to put the lid on, take the measuring cup off, and sit the simmering basket on the top. And then we've got 8 minutes at 100 degrees, reverse, and speed 0.5. Cool. So while that's doing its thing, we're going to head back to Jess, and she's going to continue on with what she's doing.
Okay, so my chicken is still, I just checked it, it just finished, which would have been perfect timing, but it wasn't quite cooked. And it did say down the bottom that you could prolong the cooking by up to 6 minutes. So I've just put it on for another 3 minutes because there's really only a couple of pieces that I must have put a bit rid. So while that's just cooking, I have made the rest of the dressing. So I'll just show you there. So this dressing, it makes a lot, as you can see. And if you actually go down the recipe, if you scroll right down to the hints and tips, it does say on there that, yeah, it is Luke Newen who came up with this salad dressing. And you will use some of it tonight, but you can actually store it in the fridge for up to a month and use it on other salad or with spring rolls as a dipping sauce or rice paper rolls. So it's going to be delicious. I've already tried some and it's really yummy. So that is a good tip, that even if you're not making the salad, this I reckon I'll be going back to make this dressing at other times when I make rice paper rolls or spring rolls. So this has just about a minute to go before we continue on. Actually, I might just check it. We'll stop there with a minute to go. Give it a couple more minutes and it should be right, I think. As you'll see, we just got to wait. I've stopped it now, but we've got to wait the 20 seconds just from a safety point of view for it to stop bubbling up, for the arms to open, and then we can have a look in there. Back. Those bigger pieces. Looking like it's all cooked. All cooked now. So go next. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this on your Team 6, but it has a lot of great little videos on here. So it says to remove the simmering basket with the aid of the spatula and transfer the cooked chicken to a bowl, then set aside. So if you're unsure what they're actually referring to, you can press play on the little video and it will show you here how to put the spatula in and how to remove the simmering basket. So they're very clever now for trying to, for some people if you're new to using the Thermomix, for younger people too, for kids who are using it as well, Just makes it a lot easier. And I've got to put the chicken into a bowl, so I've just put the bowl underneath now to stop any drips. All right. So now we're going to set the simmering basket aside, which we've done. We're going to leave the poaching liquid in the bowl because now we're going to pop in our noodles. So we'll just pop them straight into the water. Oh, should be about right there. All right, now we're just going to allow them to soften in the mixing bowl for 5 minutes. So another tip as well is have a lot of spatulas. I often find the more bowls you have, you need a couple more spatulas for all the bowls. We'll pop them down. So they've just got to soften. So we'll just leave them there. All right, so I'm just going to leave them to soften for about 5 minutes. Do you want me to go on and make the dip, Erin, or do you have something else to do?
Yeah, do you want to do the dip?
Yep, we can do
Perfect.
that. All right, slide that one back. Beauty of virtuals is don't actually look at the state of my kitchen right now. All right, move this on over here, and now we'll cook on the white one. So again, as we were saying before, here's the matching boards, and I'll be using this. This is the oval thermo server that you get as your gift with purchase as well. So if you buy a white one, you'll get the white glider board and then this silver thermo server. If you buy the black one, you'll get the beautiful sparkling black, the black glider board, and a black. This will be black coated as well. All right. So the other dish I'm going to make tonight is the beetroot and parmesan and cashew dip. So, because we kind of went along with the theme of it's spring, you want to go to a picnic or go out, you might be having cocktails or drinks in the afternoon, you want some dip and cheese platter, this will be perfect. So I'm going to pop in some parmesan cheese. So I need 80 grams. And I'll only cut 60. That would be right. Sorry, I'll just cut a little bit more.
Hey, Jess, while you're doing that, I'm going to put my brunch bread in the oven. So before I do that, I just had a quick read of the rest of the recipe, and it's just telling us just to brush it with some egg and then pop a bit of sesame seeds on the top. Obviously, that's optional if you don't want to. So I'm just doing that, and I'm going to pop it in the oven, and obviously we'll see it at the end. It only takes about 15 minutes to cook. So
that sounds good. All right, so I've put in the parmesan cheese, and now it needs a garlic clove. Now, a hot tip here is measure garlic with your heart when you're cooking it. If you're using garlic raw, always follow the recipe. If you put in too much garlic, it'll be too overpowering. May be speaking from experience. All right, so we're just going to pop that in, and now we're going to go 10 seconds around on speed 9. So it's going to be really loud, and it is going to cut me out. All right. So you can see there, beautifully grated parmesan cheese, and you can't even see the garlic in it now. It smells delicious though. Just pour that into a bowl. Okay. And now we need to put in 150 grams of roasted salted cashew nuts. Now, a funny story about this. I wasn't actually going to be making this dip tonight. And so I thought I had everything, but I didn't have any cashews. So I've done a quick Google, and it reckons you can substitute sunflower seeds for cashews. So we're going to give that a go tonight. But normally this is where you would put in your cashews. So we're just going to substitute them 1 for 1. So 150 grams of cashews, and I'm going to do 150 grams of sunflower seeds. Okay. And now we're just going to whiz them up a little bit. So again, it'll be really loud, just for 2 seconds on speed 7. All right, so that's just whiz them up a little bit. It's still going to be that crunch in your dip though. Okay, so the next thing I need to add in is 450 grams of canned baby beetroot, and reserve a tablespoon of the beetroot liquid. So without making everything go all red, so I'll put in, that was my canned beetroot, and I've reserved some of the liquid when I drained it out of the can. So I do have that here. And now I've got to add that in. That's fine. There we go. We're going to add in the reserved parmesan and garlic. And then mix it all up. So this is going to go 6 seconds on speed 5. All right, so I'm just going to add in a tablespoon of lemon juice. Move that down. You often find when you mix up in here that the speed of the blades pushes everything up the sides. I'm just going to mix that up a little bit. So we're going to put in a tablespoon of lemon juice. Right. So now we can just season to taste with a pinch of sea salt and a pinch of black pepper. I just put a little bit of salt in because I didn't have the salted cashews. And I'll put some pepper in as well. Lid back on. Now we're just doing 3 seconds on speed 4 to mix it up. All right, and that's it. So now we have our beautiful beetroot dip. So it is quite, oh, if you can see there, quite chunky. And smells delicious and will be quite nice. Like it makes a lot too. If you can see in the bowl there, that would be easily 2, maybe 3 containers that you would buy in the supermarket. But that's it done. So we can just put it in a sealable container and then place into the refrigerator until ready to serve. So it does say to garnish with 1 spring onion trimmed finely, and then serve chilled. So if again with this one, if you go back in, I'll show you here, if you go back into the recipe detail and scroll all the way down, under the tips, I did read before that it says, it does say to make this in advance by a couple of days, because then the flavors will really develop. So if you do plan on going out for like having afternoon tea or taking a dip or anything, make this a couple of days in advance. It's usually the rule with most of the dips, just so the flavors develop and it tastes really good. But it would be fine to eat right now. So that was the dip, as simple as that. So
good. Love a quick dip.
and you can also make like lavash biscuits or lavash bread or anything like that you'll be able to go use with it. Do you want me to keep going, Erin?
Or maybe I'll do the salad and then you can get everything ready because it's just to serve now, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'll just show you the noodles are just there and I've just got to drain them off and get it ready to serve. So
yeah, if you do that and then I'll do the salad and then we'll be great.
Go for it.
Perfect. All right, so our chicken is cooked now, so I'm just going to hit next on that. So I already hit next actually while I was waiting for you. So I'm just going to take that off. So it's just telling us to transfer the cooking juices to a small bowl and set it aside. I don't think there's really much cooking juice left, to be honest. Use a much smaller bowl than that. There really isn't. There's more than what I thought. And then, so we're going to leave that in there and then give it a quick shred. So next again, we're going to pop the lid back on and we're going to put the measuring cup back in this time. Next again, so we've just got 4 seconds. It's got the reverse automatically set for us. So if you're shredding any meat, you want to have it in reverse. Right, and then otherwise it's going to give it a real chop. So reverse just kind of shreds it, pulls it apart. So reverse and speed 4. I'm going to stop it before the 4 because it was already a little bit broken down. Right, let's do 2. So at any stage when you're cooking anything at all, if you want to stop for whatever reason, you can just press your speed selector and that will do that for you. So there you go. There's our beautiful shredded chicken there. So next again, we're just going to pop that in a bowl and set it aside. Jess, if you have a second, once you're ready, would you be able to put this recipe in the chat box for us, please? If you get time, otherwise I'll do it in a minute.
Yep, I'll find it now for you. That's the budda bowl, isn't it?
It is, yeah. All right, so I'm going to put that back on. And now we are going to use our cutter to do our salad. This is just weighing out the veggies, which I've already done. So it's just telling us to put a bowl or even a plate on the top. And then it's just telling you to weigh 120 grams of carrot, 200 grams of avocado, 200 grams of cucumber, 180 to 200 grams of tomato, around 100 grams, half a red onion, 160 grams of little gem lettuce, and set that aside. So voila, we've got all that ready for us. So into the Thermomix now is we're going to use the cutter. So has anybody got their hands on one of the cutters yet? They're very hot property, that's for sure. So this is the shaft that then sits over the top of the blades. Doesn't matter that the bowl's dirty, because this, the beautiful thing is if you were using this on its own and you didn't have a dirty bowl, you wouldn't dirty the bowl, but it actually doesn't kind of come in contact with what's in the bowl at all. So it doesn't matter that it's not clean. So on top of the shaft, we're going to put the cutter bowl. I went to get this out before and my little kids have love their sweets. They're shocking. They would take a sweet, any sweet they could find. And I opened it up and realized that I'd hidden some in there, which was quite funny. Anyway, so insert the cutter shaft and the basket, and then the cutting disc with side 1, which is slicing, facing up. So when you get your cutter, you'll see that there's markings on it that say slicing versus grating. So the one you're using should be facing up. So I just put it onto the lid and then put that on the top. Place the cutter lid on the top and then insert the lettuce vertically in this feeder with vertically in wide part of the feeder, and then insert the pusher. And then, so just sitting that, let me see how am I right on the edge of the screen. Come across a little bit. So just sitting that in the top, and then we've got our pusher, so that just kind of guides things through. So we're going to go next, So it says info, in the next prompt, start the motor and press the pusher gently. When the feeder is empty, press the selector to stop and repeat slicing process as needed until all lettuce is sliced. So I'm only doing half tonight because obviously I don't need, this recipe does 4 bowls, so I don't need it all tonight. So I'm just doing a little bit of each tonight. So then it tells us to turn the speed selector to thick. So every side, this side of the cutter, whether you're cutting, slicing or grating, you've got an option for thick and for thin. So we're doing thick. So just turning it to that, lock in, and then we just guide it down. And then stop. Next again. So then we're going to arrange on the rice to cover 1/6 of the surface. So I put my cooled rice in this bowl. And that's my sliced lettuce there. So I'm going to put that in and cover about 1/6 of that. And then I'm just going to tip the rest onto a plate because obviously I'm just making the 1 bowl for tonight. If you're doing it all, you would just keep continuously making all 4 of your bowls. Next, it's just so now it's telling us to place the shredded chicken next to the lettuce to cover another 1/6. So I'll just do that. As you can see, I don't have enough room there, do I? Next again, placing the cutter back on with slicing side facing up still. So we don't need to change that. Next again, place the cutter lid on. Oh, this is just showing us exactly what to do. So this time we're placing our onion halves in. So I've only got a tiny little onion, so I've got them both in there. I can put them in together. Again, and so turning it to thin this time. Super quick, isn't it? Again, arrange it next to the chicken. So there's only a tiny, tiny onion, so I'll just pull it out so you can see. So it's nice and thinly sliced there, because obviously you don't want too thick an onion in your salad. So guys, if you don't have a cutter yet, please make sure you have reached out to your consultant and let them know that you are keen so they can keep you updated on everything. Just, give them a call or send them a text and just say, can you please make sure I am on your list for a cutter? Because obviously we get the information first, so you want to be in the know. So again, slicing facing up. Next again, this time it's telling us to do the tomatoes. I sliced my tomatoes manually just because they were a bit soft. So it's only going to work, I'm getting onion in my eyes there. It's only going to work well if you've got nice firm tomatoes, and mine weren't tonight. So if they're a bit soft, it's just going to kind of mush up and it's not going to work very well. So I'm just going to then pretend like I've done that and layer them in. So obviously if you didn't have a cutter, you can just do all of this manually. So tomatoes, back on again. So now this time we're doing cucumber. To thick. And that is our thickly sliced cucumber. So putting that next to the tomato. And then tipping the rest on there. Again, and the same with the avocado. I decided not to add it in because I just felt like my avocado was a bit too soft. So I've just sliced it up and I'm just going to put it into the bowl like that. So I'd rather do that than risk just mushing my avocado. But if you've got a nice, beautiful, firm avocado, then definitely that is something that you can pop in your cutter. And it will still work perfectly. Next, because we're skipping the avocado, we're just going to skip on past that. And then this time we're going to do grating. So we're just going to switch the top of that cutter and just turn it around the opposite way. So now the grating side is facing up. this time, and then now we're just going to place the carrot in. I'm just going to, there's two sides to the shoot there. I'm just going to fit it because it fits nicely in the small one. So I'm just going to put it in the small one this time. And then next again, and now we're doing a thick grate on that. And then arrange the carrots. Next to that. So there you go. There's our carrot. It actually says to arrange the avocado in the middle, so I missed that memo. Should have read that properly as I was going because I skipped on past. So there you go. I've put the carrot on the side and the avocado in the middle. And that is our beautiful Buddha bowl. And then we're just going to really quickly do a dressing, and then we're nearly finished, guys. Won't keep probably another 5 minutes. So next again, now we're moving the cutter and the shaft. Always make sure you take the shaft out as well because we don't want to chop that up with it. And into the bowl, we are going to pop some coriander. Obviously, adjust this if you're not a coriander lover, that's fine. A bit of salt. I've got a bit like Jess. You're lucky you can't see the mess behind the camera here because I've just thrown stuff everywhere tonight. Let's grab a couple of things quickly. Bit of pepper. 250 grams of plain yogurt. I'm just going to use, I've got sour cream and not my yogurt's vanilla, so I'm just going to use sour cream instead. I often do that, and it absolutely still works and doesn't make that much of a difference to the flavour, I don't find. Next again, and then 100 grams of mayonnaise. And then that reserved chicken juice. So that little bit of that, pop that back in as well. And then we're going to pop the lid on again. And then 15 seconds on speed 4. Next again, and then you drizzle it with a spoon over your bowl and transfer the remaining sauce to a small serving bowl. So I'll just show you guys. That is our sauce. I'm just going to put it in the bowl there. You can see that all right. And then obviously you just drizzle that over your salad bowl as you're serving it. And then you can top it with some cashew nuts and some coriander if you like, some fresh coriander. And that is it. That is our Buddha bowl done. How good does that look with the dressing there? What do you reckon, guys? Is that something that you would try at home? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. I nearly tipped that dressing everywhere there. I don't know if you saw that. We'll quickly pop back to Jess to finish off hers, and then we're all done.
All right, so I jumped ahead when Erin was doing hers. I had to shred my chicken as well. So I just skipped ahead and did that. Then we would have put the noodles and the chicken in a serving bowl, add to that snow peas, bean shoots, carrots, some fresh mint leaves, some fresh coriander leaves, and then toss them to combine. So I did all that off camera, and there is our salad there. I haven't put the dressing on yet. Let's move this one back a little bit. Put it down like that. And then we can just put some of our beautiful dressing, drizzle that on top. It smells delicious. Pity you guys can't smell it over Zoom. There we go. So there is our chicken and noodle salad. Simple as that. And there was a lot of waiting around time. There was our salad and there was our dip. That's how much we've made in there. So that's me done.
Amazing. Thanks, Jess. I just pulled my brunch bread out as well. I just need to get that out of the way because I can't see. So it's actually risen quite a bit more and we've lost a little hole in the middle, but that's okay. Oops, we lost the whole thing there. But I'm going to cut that open for you too, so you can see. Smells amazing as well. Everything's the cheese is very hot, so it's going to ooze out. But how good does that look? So how perfect would that be for a picnic? I mean, it'd be obviously delicious hot now with that runny, beautiful melted cheese, but I think it would be just as good cold as well. Perfect for a springtime picnic. Amazing. All right, guys. Well, that is us done for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have learned something new or been inspired to try a new recipe, picked up a new hint or tip, anything at all. Thank you. Big thank you to Jess for helping me out tonight. Jess, if you're on Instagram or Facebook and don't yet follow Jess, please do so. Her page is Thermy Life on the Farm. And I am Thermo Loving Mum on Instagram and Facebook as well, if you would like to follow me. But thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you guys. Yeah, hope you've learned something new. If you've got any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to one of us, or if you're still in contact with your consultant, please do reach out to them as well. And yeah, let them know if you are interested in a cutter so they can keep you up to date on everything cutter related. I think that's just about it. If you do need anything, please reach out. If you're interested in joining our team, finding out a bit more about becoming a consultant, feel free to stay on. I can run you through a bit of information, or feel free to reach out tomorrow as well and we can talk about it. But thank you, and we will see you all next time.